above all else, I think the dumb is an exercise. It's like practicing medicine. We don't know the depths nor the breadths of the dumb. It is doing things for the sake of those things, rather than anything else. Do we learn things? We oft do. We oft do. Do we expect to learn anything today? I mean, what is there to learn? We have achieved squareness. She is the purveyor of squareness. It's 8 deep woods. It is 8 3D printed inserts. Like, if you're gonna do it, right? Like I say, dumb exists on a scale which has no basis. It is its own scale. You can't measure dumbness on a scale other than the scale for dumbness itself. So we go into this. In any exhibition of the dumb, there is that opportunity to cost oneself money, either in the expenditure to purchase the things required, which was not a thing. A little package showed up at my house with some tubes and some set screws in it, and I had no idea what it was. No idea. It said TRX6 on the package, so I had to Google it. And I find out it's indeed for putting duals on your TRX6. So these adapters are built for those wheels. It is for a TRX6. Like if you want to make your hauler into a dually. But that's not what we do here. What we do here is we take element axles, which have, in terms of pinion gear integrity, that is inner pinion carrier bearing, they do not have the most robust system. Combined with that, the fact that misdirection is running a tiny AM32 controller. That's a lot of push. And a 3530 outrunner of reasonably high KV. And then combine with that the fact that we're not using these as intended. And you get what we have now. When you pick her up by the cage, she is remarkably heavy. 8 identical Amazon 105 wheels. They are, I think they're silver with black bead lock rings on the inside, and obviously the gold orange with silver bead lock rings on the outside. I had to do some manipulation to get these to fit on here because, as said, they are designed specifically for the plastic wheel that comes on a TRX6. And they would not fit on these. And I don't have 8 wheels mounted on plastic wheels lying around to give it a shot. So we are definitely into the realm of, well, dumb, but also there's definitely a point of diminishing returns on rotating mass, and I think we're there, because even with a 3D printed insert at each corner, each combo, each wheel, rim, and insert is going to be in the 180, 190 gram range. So we are, I would say, around a pound a corner when we're all done. We could easily be 400 grams per corner because I had forgot about the hardware and the adapters to turn them into duals. So she's pretty effortlessly spinning this weight, and the thoughts that I kept having while machining the adapters to fit and sourcing hardware to make it work were just don't bind it up. I mean, there's dumb and then there's stupid, and we're not here to be stupid. 45 kg Flash Hoppy is turning that weight. And, potential problem, she runs every day HPI Hot Body Rover 2.2 Rovers, the beach balls. So I figured Misdirection would be pretty comfortable running an absurdly wide wheel set combo. But those tires are in that LP, like between 5.5 and a quarter. These are 4.65s. I was digging through and I was like, what do I have 8 of that I can mount up right now? And it's deep woods, and it's affecting clearance. Clearance is down. Stability is way up. I want to try to get to a spot where I can actually descend. Like, it doesn't matter how sharp you go. If the tires can get any grip at all, you will go. I don't know. We're going to have to go to a side hill to find out. I don't know if I can turn this sharply enough to actually roll her over. It is, if there's a surprise this early in, it's that I'm not surprised. As I mentioned, 8 deep woods, 8 105s, 8 3D printed inserts, and I dug through what was available and not fitted to other vehicles for the softest 3D printed inserts I could find, and I don't think that they're soft enough. Like, PSI, baby. Look at the contact patch. So her forward drive is suboptimal. What's surprising me, though, is this. That's the amount of loss of drag brake? It actually stopped it? Like, 4 pounds of rotating mass. It should just be rolling away. It should just be rolling away. But it's not. So, once again, are we going to learn against our wills? I should have just kept the 2mm in my pocket because the servo horn was already loose. Any shutter, we're going to see 2 forms of shutter. One is the rear, right now the rear inserts might as well be brick. Even though they are, if you were to take a finger, if you were to wander over yonder and press down on one of those tires with your finger, you'd be like, that's too soft. This was lessons brought to us by virtue of Jelly Green, the 6x6. You basically can't get your shocks sprung soft enough, nor your tire inserts soft enough, because you're spreading that load. And she doesn't weigh nearly as much as a 6x. And why stop at 6 when you can have 8? It's a stability that is not, it's not like other sources of stability. No one would argue that this isn't too much rotating mass. I was thankful that it was deep woods and not something that would fit a silicone, because I do have 8 silicones not in use, but they're all blue and they would have been far, far, far too stiff. Like not even in the conversation. So instead you end up with what we ended up here today, which is 8 deep woods and 8 3D printed, because, oh, and let's put the most, that's just front pumpkin just hung up. Yeah, that weight transfer, there, it's over. I am driving gingerly, if it does not show, because that's a lot of load. That's a lot of load. And that load is going to be exerted mostly at ring and pinion. Oh, you hear that groan? You know, again, this seems to be the way it happens. It looks like the front axle is literally flexing to the sides. I know it's not, but it looks like it is. Just can't quite get it. Wait. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. I hope a camera caught the angle of what appeared to be one knuckle. It looked like the driver's side knuckle wasn't turning and the passenger side knuckle was. Any amount of bind in the front end, and I mean, it's a 45 kg servo, but that's a lot. That's a lot to try to turn, just in terms of sheer mass. And then the width, 340 millimeters wide. Oh, that little stick and pop, did not like. Think we can stay? No. Ooh, that was a little quick position. Ooh. But again, never even for an instant have I felt lack of stability. I had complained during wheels of the 10 Pro, Axial 10 Pro, feels overly stable. This feels less stable than the 10 Pro. It still doesn't feel hyper stable, yet I feel like it would be impossible to flip this over in normal usage. Let's just go at it. It's just so much mass. Now, this explicitly qualifies as a dumb entry, because if you do this, if you do what I'm doing for any significant period of time, you will break something. Something is going to break. I chose misdirection for a number of reasons. The beach ball wheels, the fact that she doesn't have 5mm stub axles was a prime consideration, as these only fit on 4s. We've got a big old thing of spiderwebs, got that off. The other was I looked through the spares. I looked through the spares drawer, and I have universals. I've got ring and pinion. I can rebuild that front axle if it doesn't survive the X number of minutes out here. But here's the thing. Uh-oh. We've loosened it. Yep. Oh, it's multiple wrenches. It's multiple wrenches. 3 out of 4 loose, which is honestly, what's going on here? How is that one still not? How have we done this? So the way it's all held together, which we will show you. I was going to say shortly, but at some point, we'll show you at some point, does not lend to long-term durability. Oh, I did not like that. Unless you're thread locking. And these are going to be on here for about another 15 minutes. So I'm not thread locking that stuff on there. I think what it comes down to on some level is that the dumb is shenanigans, and it feels on at least some level winky and fun. These are winky and fun shenanigans. These particular shenanigans feel cruel and evil. I feel like every creak and groan is just an axle stub shearing off. Yeah, side hill queen. We're just gonna one-hand it. I'm not gonna put any steering input at all, because why would we need any? Didn't they do a Bigfoot monster truck that had the duals on it way back? There's a vibe. There's definitely a vibe. Side hill stability. Infinity symbol? I mean, I have made many an analogy. Glued on, stuck down, all adhesive based. Now, misdirection is painted on to the side hill. Like, there is no feeling of sliding away. And her turn circle is really bad. But, again, it still doesn't have that I gave up X to get Y level of stability that comes out of a 10 Pro. I don't know what they did to a 10 Pro. I mean, it's Geo. It's Geo. And for those unfamiliar, those who are just drawn in by the number of wheels, Misdirection is not a Capra. That is a Capra cage, but underneath her is all Element. She's basically what the Gatekeeper should have been. So she is a cage, but she is Element axles, a Stealth X. She's just an Element. And I had preferred her in the narrower width, despite the fact, and she still is the narrower width. It's just she's got some big schwingus out there. Is this advantageous everywhere? Well, I think the answer to that is probably obvious. I think it's not coincidental that the promotional imagery for this is a TRX-6, and not just a TRX-6, but a hauler. But in terms of grand insanity, it's on a TRX-6 hauler, and they just take another set of Canyon RTs and slap them on. Yeah, see, ground clearance still hasn't improved. Okay, so nobody goes up this side right here. Yeah. It's like, people have often asked, oh, well, like, what about a tank? What about anything on tracks? Things with tracks don't like steep grades. They really don't. They also don't like overwhelmingly irregular surfaces. They're built for like soft surfaces. This is the opposite of that. This is like, what if a tank was good at climbing rocks? Because although, you know, a tank would be able to turn a lot sharper, they can do that whole spin in place thing by virtue of the tracks. This is, if there is a surprise, and we're generally surprised by something in every one of these, it's that the turn isn't as bad as, oh, she's looking very spider-like right now. It's kind of uncomfortable. You get at that angle right there, and it's just tire, 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 tire. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know if she can physically fit in between these two. Okay, rotating the outside one. No. No. She is the width of the gate. She is basically the width of the gate. But that's not what you're doing with this, is it? Whee! It's a, there's been a spider lowering itself down off of my microphone since this started, and he keeps walking around on the pan handle. Well, okay, the pan tilt handle for my fluid head, and I don't like it. Is he shiny? He's a little shiny. He's pretty shiny. I wonder if we can capture him. Here we go. Nope. Come here. Come here. No, he wants to live on my tripod. Well, here's the thing. You can't. You can't. I'm going to grab, I think he's a little garden spider, which is fine. But, like, he's so spindly and fine. There we go. There we go. It's not going to focus on that. Focus, pull focus. I want to see him. There he is. Look, he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. All right, little guy. I know, I don't know where he came from. I saw on a YouTube thing sometime back that if you find a spider inside and you let it go outside, it's basically dead. But he can't live on my tripod. He can't live on my tripod. I don't know. I didn't feel that spark of joy in this. It looks insane, and it is ever stable. It's straight on. She's too is it the headlights? She's too spider-like. We'll take a quick look at what went into getting the adapters to work, and then that'll be that. We've gotten into that insect time of morning, so let's see what we got. I don't know why I would show this to anyone, because I would desperately hope that no one would do this, but here we are. So, as I mentioned, the little adapter piece, which you will see momentarily, they came with, oh no, I need that for exhibition. So they had come with big old set screws, and the imagery that I found on the internet, plastic wheel, adapter. So you've got the outer wheel, right, and then we've got this adapter piece. This is the main thing. So it's got a little hex at one end, and that goes like that. So the way it mounts is the inner wheel just like it is like a dual, right? So you've got this big long 6mm hex standoff, which has already come loose. They don't want to stay tight. You would have to thread lock the bejesus out of them. So no modifications to the wheels nor tires at all. What I did have to modify is when these come out of the package, this is as long as that because it's designed to sit flat against the face of the wheel. Well, aftermarket wheels like this have that big recess and then the lugs to hold the SLW in. I dug around and, mind you, had to find 8 of them. So just took it to the lathe, turned it down. They're all approximate, and I think this one is either turned down too far or not far enough. I think it's not turned down far enough. There's a little barely visible lip here. We can kind of, there's a little lip there. That lip needs to be down to almost nothing in order to clear the bolts, or the hardware on that particular one is pushing it up a little higher because it was forcing this to unthread itself. And then I have to arrive at regular SLW hubs. So we've got the little spacers. So I had to run a spacer on the outside and then a flathead screw to act kind of like, well, I mean, that is effectively a hub-centric ring, but we're using it on the outside to make a hub-centric ring out of it. So all of the others held on just fine. It was just that passenger front didn't want to stay on. And then, like I say, absolutely no modification. Slide the adapter off, slide the inner wheel off, and then, yeah, every one of them. And I tightened them down with a wrench. But yeah, even that 20, 25 odd minutes. That, well, again, the, like, look at the servo horn. Oh, yeah. We're going to cover one thing here. So it was this. We'll just try to set it how they were. That, and then we'll just throw the bits on top. I am genuine. This is the part of this that I am genuinely most curious about. Yeah, it is 0.926 pounds. In the 419. Yeah, that's about right. I was thinking about 400 grams. So any other rim choice, any other insert choice would have gotten me to like a pound a corner. And I don't know if you think that that's too much, but I definitely think that's too much. Because it only takes mere moments here. Tires rolling away. As I said, 2 different sourced 3D printed inserts. One for the inners, one for the outers. I went for I think it's softer. Yeah, it is softer inner. These are really, really soft. And I want to say that the outers are squids. So they're a little, like, they're correct. These are correct. If you're only running 4 wheels. So I guess we can Oh yeah, every single one of them. I'm doing it out of frame. Every single one of them. Just falling off. And again, those not familiar, on a day-to-day, this is what she runs. The big 2.2 Rover, which is an absolute beach ball, 63 millimeters wide, and they're about $260 a corner, and with like no brass rings, no nothing, just a big old rim and a big old tire with quite a bit of offset on it. What do we got? Yeah, she's 1,800 grams dead. So what was that, $419 a corner? 60, just shy of 1,700 grams. So she would have been 50% wheel and tire, meaning that unsprung would be at least 60%, 60 to 65% unsprung weight. And I would probably be okay with 60 to 65% unsprung weight, but that's too much rotating. That's too much rotating. So more wheels and tires to move around, and I'm not. These are so soft. All right. If I'm starting to get too analytical about a dumb, it's that I don't know if that's explicitly a failure of the dumb. It's just that we inevitably get back in frame here. It's that we inevitably end up learning something, and I can't figure out what we learned today. We can't figure it out. Somebody's going to have to tell me in the comments what we learned today. So instead, we'll do things in reverse. We started outside, and now we're inside. Where I'm going to thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for coming down. Shout out again, Osmium Level Canyon supporter Miata Commuter, who sent these in because, I don't know, reasons. They probably wanted me to do dual Boom Racing Hustlers because, well, now that's an idea that's in my head. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I hope to see you next time. I hope to see you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this one. I hope that in between now and when we meet again, you want to all do your very best to get everyone a good one, everybody. We will see you next time here from the Canyon. It is a rare occasion. It is few and far between that Susan gets to spin us out.